Hi, I'm Shaley Sanders with KOLD News 13. I have an update on an investigation I have followed for years. And the ADCRR allowed 3 media witnesses to today's execution of Frank Atwood. Our own Bud Foster was in the witness room. It's not unusual to see volunteers in a major watch like this picking up trash after a monsoon, but something they can't pick up: this. Take a look at how many times this portion of the wall has been cut and then repaired. It happened on March 16th, again on the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 25th. In 2017, Christopher Clements sat down with special agents with the FBI. He was currently here at the Pima County Jail awaiting trial on burglary charges he wanted dropped. I said, were you surprised by that? Did you have any expectations going into today? Had you hoped to hear an apology, some sort of admission? And she said she would not waste another breath on Clarence Dixon. The KOLD Investigates team obtained this portable readiness audit performed by the TUSD Operations Department earlier this year. Here's a look at the fires burning across our state. This is the one that we're watching closely tonight.
I'm not doing this to be a good Samaritan, I'll be honest.
It's a case that gripped the nation, and tonight our KOLD Investigates team has never before seen video of the man accused of kidnapping and killing 2 Tucson girls. Now 39-year-old Christopher Clements is facing 22 felony charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder. His first trial is set in just a few weeks. He's accused of killing 6-year-old Isabel Celis in 2012 and 13-year-old Maribel Gonzalez in 2014.
Their bodies were found just feet apart from each other in rural Pima County. So how did law enforcement make this discovery? KOLD News 13 investigative reporter Shaley Sanders joins us now with what these new videos reveal.
In 2017, Christopher Clements sat down with special agents with the FBI. He was currently here at the Pima County Jail awaiting trial on burglary charges he wanted dropped. In 2018, KOLD obtained these transcripts of conversations Clements had with the FBI. And tonight, for the first time, we're seeing the video.
So you probably know why we're here. We talked to your girlfriend, I guess, Melissa? Fiance, all right.
This is video from February 10th, 2017 of Christopher Clements being questioned by the FBI.
We're going to check it out, and I want to see if
I'm glad you guys are
there's
doing more
anything to it.
According to their exchange in this interview, Clements had his fiancée contact the FBI and tell them he knew where to find 6-year-old Isabel Celis, the little girl who went missing from her East Side home 5 years earlier in April 2012.
I'm not doing this to be a good Samaritan, I'll be honest.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I was involved with some people, and that's how I know.
Clements wanted to strike a deal.
I think the information that I have is a lot more valuable than a conviction or me staying in here.
In exchange for information about Celis's location, Clements wanted his Pima County burglary charges dropped and his vehicle that was being held by law enforcement released to his fiancée.
Are you saying that she might still be alive? Have you heard that?
I'm saying I'm not going to tell you the answer to that question. I know it.
What purpose did you have for keeping her alive?
You'd have to ask the people that did it. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose would be to killing a 6-year-old.
Despite knowing her location, he told agents repeatedly that he was not directly responsible for her disappearance.
I didn't do this.
Okay, how about...
I didn't have any direct involvement with her kidnapping.
If you gave us where she's at, would we be able to go and scoop her up this afternoon? Could we do that? Is that possible?
With the information that I have, yes.
Right.
You could. Absolutely. Without a doubt. You could. Yeah.
All right.
You could have her within 12 hours.
12 hours? It would take us that long?
I said within 12 hours.
If Clements knew where Celis was for 5 years, why did he stay quiet? He said he didn't want to put his own family in danger by speaking to law enforcement.
I'm not in here because I'm a good Samaritan. I'm not in here because I care so much about the sanctity and morality of society. I could really give a what I care about is my family.
Right.
Period.
As the agents began to construct a deal, Clements' demands expanded to include full immunity, so nothing he said about Isabel could be used against him.
I mean, you're changing your tune. You're saying you're not directly...
I'm not, but I've never changed my tune. I've always said that I want to cover my...
You're not directly
100%.
involved.
It doesn't matter if I was or wasn't. I told you I'm not directly involved. I said that I'm not directly involved. But I want the language on there to reflect that no matter what you guys' opinion is, whether or not I'm directly involved, it doesn't matter. It can't be used against me.
The agents worked with the Pima County Attorney to get Clements' burglary charges dropped and his car released. But by February 28th, immunity still wasn't on the table, and agents weren't any closer to finding Isabel's location.
I would have given you guys where she's at, and it wouldn't have been just bogus bull. It would have been the truth. And there would have been closure to this case. And I'm not 99% sure about that, I'm 100% sure about it. You guys would have, as a bonus, you guys would have found out about something else too, by default.
Can you tell me what that is?
No, because if I told you that, then you guys would know exactly what direction to go.
But by March 2nd, despite not having full immunity, Clements gave agents a location.
As far as I understand, this is the location.
Avra Valley and Trico Road. Kind of familiar with that area. It's pretty remote. I ask, are we talking now about a gravesite versus a location where she's alive?
As far as I understand, she's not.
She's not alive.
As far as I understand, I mean,
Last time we talked to him, he said he knew firsthand, and he did say she was alive.
I don't know anything about
when I
that.
walked out, I was saying she's not.
Is it a burial site or just a place where a body was dumped?
What I know is that's where. That's 100%. That's the area.
Yeah, maybe.
You said when we find the location, it's going to tell us a whole bunch more. I can't see where a location in the middle of the desert is going to tell us anything.
Can I answer that?
No.
According to these transcripts, we know what happened after that conversation. Clements led agents to the middle of the desert, to that remote area near Trico Road and Avra Valley Road. Not too far from where the dirt road forks, law enforcement found human remains under a mesquite tree. All of this was kept from the public until March 31st, 2017, when then Tucson Police Chief Chris Magnus made the devastating announcement.
Unfortunately, the results of this DNA analysis did confirm that the remains were those of Isabel Celis.
This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the conversations Clements had with the FBI. Coming up tomorrow night, we'll tell you about the other deal he tried to make with investigators. Plus, you can hear who Clements claims was involved with the death of Isabel Celis on a new episode of our podcast, Disappeared in the Desert, out tomorrow. It's available on SoundCloud, Apple and Google Podcast, and Spotify. You can subscribe to get notified of new episodes. Shaley Sanders, KOLD, Investigates.
Tonight, new video of the man accused of killing two Tucson girls. We showed you the initial 2017 negotiation between Christopher Clements and the FBI last night in our exclusive investigation. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Brooke Wagner.
And I'm Mary Coleman in for Dan tonight. That deal led to the discovery of Isabel Celis' remains, a 6-year-old who went missing from her home in April 2012. Our investigative reporter Shaley Sanders joins us now with the focus of the second deal Clements tried to make. Shaley?
While in Pima County, Clements negotiated to have his burglary charges dropped and his car released from law enforcement in exchange for the location of Isabel Celis' remains. But he was far from being a free man. While the Pima County Attorney's Office held up their end of the bargain, Clements was transferred to the Maricopa County Jail, where he faced separate burglary charges. In hopes of getting out of jail, Clements told the FBI he had more information in the Celis case, including a key piece of evidence.
Face the wall for me, and then I'll get those off.
April 25th, 2017. Dressed in a Maricopa County jumpsuit, Christopher Clements met with familiar faces.
I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, how have you been?
The special agents who helped him cut his deal in Pima County.
And you gave us the location of Celis. That was great. And in return for that.
Why do you say that constantly?
Well, because I feel like what you got in return for that was fair.
No,
Is what
it wasn't. I mean, I
understand. I understand that
didn't
how
ask
you
for $1
felt like.
million. I asked for another chance of freedom.
But could the information Clements had give him a second chance at that freedom?
I don't know if you remember when I first started speaking to you, I said that there was something that you would find, and you didn't. And I genuinely thought that you guys would. I know it's very important.
Is this what you kept referring to?
Right, this is
when you
what I
find
kept-
her, you're going to find so much more.
Right.
That you're going to.
Well, I thought you guys would at least find one other item.
This is the conversation they're referring to. It took place weeks earlier in February before Clements led authorities to Celis's remains.
As a bonus, you guys would have found out about something else too.
But agents never found that additional evidence.
You told us where she was. So I know that you know a lot more. You have to. Just by the mere fact that you knew where she was. You have to.
I know a lot more than that.
Clements told the agents about an area on the other side of town that would answer another lingering question in the Celis case.
This place is somewhere that, you know, among many others that we'd go to, or they would go to dump things. Say, for instance, and this is just all talking theoretically, if somebody was to commit, I don't know, burglary, theft, whatever, maybe 1 out of every 10 items is real, or is something that's tangibly, you know, usable, and you throw it away. The other stuff that's not.
Right. Because
You get what I'm saying?
it's just going to link you to it, so get rid of it as best you can.
Yeah.
What could be at this alleged secret dumping site? Agents pressed to find out.
Okay,
Honestly, I didn't have
let me
any-
just take the next step here. Is if this was some kind of you're implying here, it sounds like it's possibly a murder weapon used in Celis case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clements told the agents he didn't know what the weapon was, but he could lead them to it.
I mean, and here, we want you out of here. We want you home to your... Is she your wife or your fiance? I keep saying wife. Is it fiance?
Might as well.
Okay, so your wife, you want to get home to your wife and little boy, and we want that for you too. You think we're lying when we say that, but we're not. I don't.
You guys think I'm gonna run to get out?
No.
No, I don't.
I don't either.
We don't. It's just because we believe something and we want something to happen. I wish we could say, hey, we're the FBI, make this deal happen. We can't.
And like I've told you from the beginning, this in particular is what I'm interested in.
Okay.
I don't care about the, like you said, you're not a great guy. You've been involved in some criminal activity. I'm not here to talk about that. I don't care about it. I'm here to talk about bringing somebody to justice for killing Isabel Celis.
I mean, she didn't deserve it, right? She's just a little girl.
Here. You're singing to the choir.
Ultimately, Clements didn't get that second deal, and agents never found the alleged murder weapon. What Clements didn't know at that time was that he had said something to law enforcement during the Celis investigation that made him a suspect in the death of another Tucson girl, Maribel Gonzalez. You can listen to more of Clements' interviews with the FBI on our original podcast, Disappeared in the Desert. The latest episode just came out today. It's available on SoundCloud, Apple and Google Podcast, and Spotify. You can subscribe to get notified of new episodes. Christopher Clements, the man charged in the murders of 2 young Tucson girls, is set to face trial this summer. KOLD News 13 produced an 8-episode podcast on the crimes called Disappeared in the Desert. It looks at how detectives investigating the deaths of Isabel Celis and Maribel Gonzalez zeroed in on Clements and the evidence to be presented at trial. Today, KOLD was honored to receive a Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for our work on this series. The Pima County Attorney took office during a pandemic and at the start of a record-breaking year for homicides. Now, a year into her job, I sat down one-on-one with Laura Conover to go over some of last year's biggest moments and what lies ahead in 2022.
We have been under emergency operations since day one.
Pima County District Attorney Laura Conover faced unprecedented challenges in 2021.
We came in with a backlog of 144 pending homicides going back to 2017. And then the problem was that we picked up more from the city of Tucson and then I think another 12 from surrounding agencies in the county.
In 2019, the Tucson Police Department reported 50 homicides. That number climbed to 68 in 2020. In 2021, TPD reported a record-breaking 93 homicides. Conover says her office cleared nearly 90 homicide cases last year. Despite the progress, her office is still battling the backlog.
Every Monday now is homicide panel. It used to be a monthly occurrence and we increased it to every single Monday. The mornings are spent reviewing the police reports and prepping the cases. The afternoons are the presentations to see what can be resolved and what needs to go to trial.
In 2021, Conover also announced the end of the death penalty.
It was an intense process.
Conover says she met with family members impacted by this decision.
And the grace of those families cannot be overstated. Because that decision, happened to them and happened to their case.
Those aren't the only difficult conversations Conover has had with families. In March, her office dropped an aggravated assault charge related to a road rage shooting incident that killed 27-year-old Rudy Vega.
Laura Conover, by making the wrong decision, it's like Rudy got murdered all over again.
Vega's family, including his aunt, Monique Coronado, called for Conover's resignation.
Laura Conover, she shouldn't be a Pima County attorney.
Conover says her office dropped the charge because the incident fell under Arizona's self-defense laws. Conover says her office does not make legal decisions based on a family's grief, no matter how badly they feel their loss.
I will tell you, though, Shaley, that some of the most difficult conversations we had this year, for sure, were when we had to decline to prosecute a case. It has to do with the high burden of the evidence necessary to convict someone at trial. And when a family has lost someone, when someone's been harmed, and we don't have the evidence necessary to make a case, those are really, really hard conversations.
Conover says she does have a policy in place that if you have lost a loved one in this community and you want to speak with her, she will make that conversation happen. And coming up tonight at 10, we're going to take a look at some of the other policy changes Conover has made since taking office.